Hello, YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in the Fan. How you doing in YouTubeland? I am doing great. I am joined by Apollo the Kitten and his sister and littermate, Sekhmet the Kitten. Yes, they're siblings, they're littermates, and they're both 10 months old, but look at the difference in size. We have Apollo on my left, and we have Sekhmet on my right, and they're not identical in size. Isn't that right? Look at this cuteness. Can you stand it? Can you not stand the cuteness? All this cat cuteness is just all over the place. But anyway, please remember to give this video a like, a share, a comment, all that other good stuff. It helps out the channel. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you a quick review of Fortune in Your Hands, A Witch's Guide to Playing Card Divination and Magic by Alaric Albertsson. Let me try that again. Take two. Alaric Albertsson. Fun fact, I first met Mr. Albertsson at a pagan festival for men who love men called Between the Worlds. It used to be held near Athens, Ohio, at a reclaimed strip mine. I have since found out that it moved to Artemis, Pennsylvania, which when I heard that, I was like, let's see, Athens, Ohio, Artemis, Pennsylvania. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. And by the way, the matron goddess of this Between the Worlds festival for men who love men is Hecate, a Greek goddess, or actually a Greek titaness. And the patron god is Dionysus. So, yeah. I'm long overdue to return to Between the Worlds. So, but anyway. So yes, I met him, lovely energy, and this is, I believe, his third book, but it is the first one that absolutely drew me. As some of you know, one of the reasons I became interested in playing card divination was because in Lenormand, there are playing cards that are associated with the Lenormand cards. And even though one does not require learning about playing card meanings to do an accurate and insightful Lenormand reading, I find that I was intrigued by it. And there are examples of including some of the information, like if, there are more black cards in the spread for the Lenormand reading, it's usually very negative. If there are a lot of red cards, it's usually very positive. But I wanted to get a little deeper into it. Now, as a result, this is not the first book I've read about playing card divination, but it is the first one that discusses playing card divination as well as using playing cards for magic, as in rituals and spells. And I found that fascinating. I especially found it fascinating that Mr. Albertson even recommended which colors to use, which herbs to use, which deities to petition, and for what purposes. And chapter 11 is called Spellcasting with Playing Cards. This is a very important chapter. I really enjoyed reading this book. I enjoyed learning from it, and I learned a great deal. And I definitely have known for some time that the suits of playing cards do have their correspondences to the minor arcana. For example, diamonds correspond to pentacles, clubs correspond to wands, spades to swords, hearts to cups. So there is an easy way to do like a crossover thing if you combine playing cards and tarot for the same client in the same reading. But I really was very intrigued by this because, again, I'd never seen any book of playing card divination that had a section on using playing cards for rituals and spells. And I must say, I have actually done I've done 2 spells for clients so far using playing cards. I have discovered that when I use playing cards for ritual work and spellcraft on behalf of a client, it's likely that those cards will no longer be able to be used. So I may need to invest in additional sets. Fortunately for me, Playing card decks are very inexpensive, so, but the same rule applies for yours truly. If I'm using a deck of playing cards, it must be one that I use either exclusively for divination or exclusively for ritual. Um, I could if there wasn't the potential for mess involved, I would probably use a playing card deck for both divination and magic. But with some of the spells in this book, the likelihood of cards becoming messy to the point of being damaged, even if slightly, it's there. So um, definitely keep that in mind for those of you who are going to peruse this. And once again, I find another book of playing card divination that doesn't go by what others have written. The only exception is the Nine of Hearts. In virtually every book that I've read, every book that I've read about playing card divination, and I believe this is my seventh or eighth at this point, um, it talks about how the Nine of Hearts is the card of one's heart's desire, one's wish fulfilled. Does that sound familiar? I'm sure it does to some of you. But yeah, this is definitely a book that I highly recommend as a way of not only learning about playing card divination, but also discovering different spreads that you can use for playing card divination, as well as keywords for both the numbered cards and the court cards and the suits, and spreads to use for playing card magic. If I had to give you a rating, I would say 5 or 10, preferably 10, because this isn't a restaurant, so I'm going to give it a 10. The uniqueness, the manner in which it is written, I found it very easy to understand. I found it very easy to comprehend. I also found it very easy with regards to the explanation of the spreads and how to begin using them. And I also love that he starts out with beginner spreads. For example, chapter 8 is called Laying Out the Cards. How cartomancy works is the first section. Cartomancy is the art of divination by way of cards. So playing card divination, Lenormand, Kipper, tarot, oracle cards, all of that falls under the category of cartomancy. Choosing a type of reading, the 1-card reading, the 3-card layout, the past, present, future layout, clarification cards, the 5-card layout, and the 12-card layout. The 12-card layout is definitely very involved. Um, I I know that some in the tarot community and some in the cartomantic community don't like the use of the term advanced, but I would say that for a lot of people who are just beginning to learn about playing card divination, a 12-card spread is an advanced spread. I will say that. Whatever flack I get, I can deal with, but I find that there are some spreads that one needs to build up to. I know that personally and professionally, I have only done a spread of more than 15 cards once or twice in the last 30 years or so. It is not something that I do all the time, mainly because I want there to be a large enough table to accommodate 15 plus cards. And I'm really not keen on using my bed. I mean, I have a full-size bed, but I would prefer to have a full-size table. But this is a folding table that serves my needs perfectly in my apartment. But I will say absolutely, I've used my bed. If you use your bed, I'm not going to shame you for it. I'm not going to shame me for it. Whatever works. I I personally draw the line on the floor. I don't care how clean your floor is. Cards don't belong on the floor. That's just me. I'll accept flack for that too, because no, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's a great book. It's easy to understand. I happily purchased it from Llewellyn. As a matter of fact, I remember one day I was just browsing through Llewellyn's website and I saw this as a pre-order. I don't remember if I waited, but I definitely remember happily purchasing this when I have the opportunity to do so. And it is definitely joining all of the other books that I use as reference guides on playing card divination. The chapter on using playing cards for magic and ritual is definitely worth the price of the book. Quite frankly, there is a lot in this book that is worth the price of this book. I'm going to leave a link on the Llewellyn's website for this. You can buy this wherever you buy this. I am a huge advocate for independent booksellers. The Llewellyn Publications is an independent bookseller, so I will absolutely link their listing for this book on their website in the description box for this book. But if you buy this anyplace else, whatever. But see if your local metaphysical store carries this, and if they don't, ask them if they would order it for you. It's always a great way to sway a bookstore, like, hey, if I order this, they're gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? But yes, Fortune in Your Hands by Alaric Albertsson is a book that I highly recommend, not only as a way of learning even more about playing card divination, but learning how to use playing cards for rituals and spells and magic and witchcraft. As always, thank you to Alaric Albertsson for writing this book. Thank you to Llewellyn Publications for publishing it. Thank you to those of you who have been spreading the word about this book on and offline. And of course, as always, stay in tune with your no. And thank you to all of you in YouTubeland for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, and all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel, and an extra big and beautiful thank you to those of you who have already scheduled your sessions, including the individual who had an audio reading with me this past Sunday. And that was a really powerful reading, if I do say so myself. So now, more than ever, stay in tune with your intuition. Stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, stay at home with your kitties if you have them as often as possible, and stay tuned for the next video. Look at all this cuteness.